continuing the revolts and resistance against the British imperialism. In this session, we deal with 1857 revolt. Exclusively in this session, we are focusing on the significance and causes for 1857 revolt. First, we start with significance. Revolts and movements broke out in India against the tyranny and exploitation of the British. There were so many revolts and movements since the establishment of the British rule. British rule established their gain control in Bengal region first, then they expanded their influence in Nizam of Hyderabad region, Carnatic region, and they expanded their territories into Maratha domains also. By 1850s, they have conquered Sindh region and Punjab region as well. With this, almost entire subcontinent came under the either direct rule of the British or indirectly they were influencing the existing princely states. So for the policies they have taken, there were so many revolts and movements against this, because once they established their control in the subcontinent, they started imposing their own way of administration. The land revenue policies changed, the administrative systems changed, the political structure also got changed, and the earlier systems disturbed. So naturally the life of people disturbed. Due to this, some of the tribal people in Chotanagpur area, in Western Ghats, in northeastern parts like Assam, Meghalaya areas also, tribal people revolted against the British, and peasants also revolted. Some of the civilian revolts like Sannyasi revolt in 1770s itself, it was the beginning stage of East India Company's rule. In the early stages itself, the revolts occurred during British rule. And Raja of Vijayanagaram, Diwani, Velutambi. So these are some of the revolts that were occurring throughout the administration of the British rule. By 1857, already so many resistance movements came for East India Company. Some of these revolts made a sincere attempts to overthrow the British rule from their domain. But the Sepoys revolt of 1857 was one of the greatest attempts in order to overthrow the British rule itself from India. Though the revolt was suppressed by the British, it led to complete overhaul of the British administration in India. Before 1857 revolt also there was some revolts, but the British administration continued according to their way of administration in London. But 1857 revolt has given a big jolt for the British thinking itself. So far, the thinking of British imperialists or British colonial masters, they were thinking about India in one way, that Indians can be modified by introducing Western education system, and Indians can be civilized the way how the British are behaving. So in 1830s itself, they were having some kind of vision for Indian subcontinent. They wanted Indians in blood, but Europeans in taste and opinion. That means they wanted Indians to behave like Europeans in their lifestyle, in their thoughts, in their way of life. But 1857 revolt has given a big jolt for them, and it made the Britishers to understand that India has a separate culture. Indians wanted to live according to their way of life. Nothing can be imposed on India. So this was a kind of change in the British thinking itself. So the revolt itself failed, no doubt. It was suppressed ruthlessly by the British, but it has changed the thinking of Britishers. And also in Indians also this has given a major inspiration. And after 1857 revolt, the Indians also took more interest in the political affairs, and later national movement emerged out of this revolt. So we will see what are the causes for such a great revolt. It was a watershed movement. 1857 revolt can be considered as a watershed movement. So the entire British administration or entire British India can be divided into two parts. One is before 1857 revolt, second one is after 1857 revolt. That is the kind of importance 1857 revolt took in the Indian modern history. Now we see the causes for such a great movement, great revolt. Broadly, it was the result of grievances from different sections of Indian society. Different sections of Indian society are like the native rulers, the princely states, the Jamindars, peasants and artisans, and conservative Indians. These are orthodox Indians who wanted to live purely according to the ancient way of life. So Indian Shastras, Indian scriptures, they wanted to preserve, and the lifestyle also they wanted to preserve the lifestyle of Indians according to the Shastras. So such kind of community was called conservative community. All these sections had grievances against the British rule. Now we see one by one. First, let us come to native states. Native rulers could not tolerate the British imperialism. Imperialism means the policy of expansion. British started from Bengal. They gradually expanded their territories in different directions. And in Bombay also they expanded towards Mysore. So they were expanding their territories continuously. That means the opponents of the British Empire naturally are the native states. So native state, at the cost of native states, the British were expanding their territories. They could not tolerate this continuous British imperialism. Mainly doctrine of lapse of Dalhousie caused great resentment in princely states. These princely states, some of these princely states were having a policy of adopting their son. That means if the king do not have natural successor, natural son, they were having the provision to adopt a son, and the king can be succeeded by the adopted son. But when Lord Dalhousie came to India as Governor General of India he rigorously followed doctrine of lapse. That means adopted sons cannot inherit the native state. This made many princes became stateless. That means these are the princes, these were the adopted sons, but now after the death of the king, they were not going to inherit their father's estate or father's state. This has created resentment. For example, Nana Sahib of Kanpur, Rani Jhansi of Jhansi Lakshmi Bai of Jhansi. So some of the examples, through doctrine of lapse, they lost their kingdom to the British Empire. So it has created great resentment in native rulers. One was doctrine of lapse. Another one on the pretext, Awadh was annexed on the pretext of the Mughal administration. Punjab was conquered by the war. So this shows that they wanted one way or the other way. They wanted an excuse to annex the princely states in any of the formats. So one format is war, directly attacking the native state and annexing it. Another is on the pretext of doctrine of lapse. That means no adopted son can inherit the kingdom, so kingdom will become the part of British Empire. Another one, Mughal administration. So on the pretext of Mughal administration also, they were annexing the native states. So this is the kind of immoral policies they were following, and this has created great resentment in native states. And the kings whoever lost their kingdoms, or the princes whoever lost their kingdoms, they provided the leadership to this 1857 revolt. So the deposed rulers led the revolt of 1857. Now next community which had greater resentment or greater grievances against the British rule were Jamindars. Jamindars also played significant role in the revolt of 1857. They provided leadership in different parts of the country. The landed estates of many Jamindars were confiscated. This led to poverty of Jamindars. Jamindars, during land revenue settlement, different Jamindars were accepted as the owners of the estates. So large tracts of lands came under Jamindars. Now these Jamindars were having the responsibility of collecting land revenue from the peasants. However, due to scarcity or due to natural disasters like droughts or floods or any other cause, if the crops are not growing properly, peasants cannot pay their land revenue to the Jamindars. So Jamindars cannot pay the land revenue to the British. British were having a clause called sunset clause. That means on the date, they fix the date of revenue settlement, and on that particular day, Jamindars should go and deposit the land revenue to the treasury. If Jamindars fail to deposit the land revenue on that particular day before sunset, now the Jamindars are going to lose their lands. The immediately next day they are going to, British used to auction the Jamindar lands and new Jamindar will take the lands. Now the old Jamindars are becoming landless. Now many of such Jamindars went into the condition of poverty. So these Jamindars had a lot of resentment against the British. Whenever they get the opportunity, they used to show the resistance. 1857 revolt was one such opportunity for these Jamindars to provide support to the rebels of 1857 revolt. Many Jamindars in Awadh who had lost their lands joined the revolt. So this is another section. One section, native rulers, they lost their lands, so they fought in 1857 revolt. Jamindars lost their lands, so they fought in 1857 revolt. Major group which had lot of grievances against British were the cultivators. The cultivators and artisans. These two groups contains large sections of society. They were the worst victims of the British economic policies. The British economic policies were aimed to extract as much land revenue and as much labor from these two sections of people. The land revenue settlements of the British and their policy of deindustrialization led to the pauperization of peasants and artisans. It ultimately encouraged them to join the revolt. This was the time period when Britain was undergoing industrialization. For industrialization, it requires raw material and it requires market. Now India is providing raw material for them. British, with their forced administrative policies, they deindustrialized India. Deindustrialized India means India is no more a manufacturing country. Now it is depending on the manufacturers of other countries. Here, the Britain. So on one hand, India is losing in the form of exporting raw materials, and these raw materials are going to be scarce for Indian manufacturers. On the other hand, Indian manufacturers also losing their ground in front of the competition from British industries. This gradually led to deindustrialization. That means people were not showing interest in manufacturing the goods like textile, silk products in India because it is not going to be remunerative. Because due to industrialization, cheaper goods imported into India, and these cheaper goods flooded the Indian market. Now, on these imports, the British government do not have any import duty also. That means the British industrialists can flood the Indian market with their goods. whereas they have imposed export duty on Indian goods. So on Indian goods they imposed export duty, whereas in import of Britain goods there was no import duty. So this kind of discriminatory policies made the industrialist disadvantaged, and this gradually led to deindustrialization, and the artisans who were working in the industries, they also went into the farming area. So now agriculture sector became overburdened. Already agriculture sector is overburdened with the existing farmers. Now new set of people also entered. Now overall the agriculture system itself collapsed. On top of it, the British and the Jamindars were trying to extract high land revenue. So they were the worst affected community due to British economic policies. So this community is naturally going to show greater resistance in 1857 revolt. Another sections of society which had their own set of grievances were religious community or the conservative community. It hurt the religious sentiments. Some of the British socio-cultural policies hurt the sentiments of these orthodox people. The British passed social legislations such as abolition of sati, legalizing widow remarriages. No doubt these are progressive in nature, and it had to be, sati had to be abolished, widow remarriage had to be legalized. But it has hurt the sentiments of some of the orthodox people. It hurt the religious sentiments of conservative Hindu classes and created hatred among them against the British. So this naturally pushed these orthodox people to show great resistance in 1857 revolt. The major community which triggered this 1857 revolt was the community of soldiers. That is, they were called Sepoys with respect to Indian military administration. These Sepoys subjected to discrimination when compared to their European counterparts in terms of pay, promotion and treatment. British were having two set of people, one Indian soldiers, another one European soldiers. But the treatment is different. Even though they were serving the same army, Indian payment, promotion, treatment is different, whereas Europeans were given high treatment comparing with their Indian counterparts. And also the highest salary of Indian sepoys also fixed at a very level, so that Indians could not rise above that level. Only Europeans are becoming the officers and the Indians are becoming the foot soldiers who are fighting against the enemy at the front lines. So Indians were ill treated. Now these people are going to have a lot of resentment against the British. The Sepoys who belonged to Hindu, Muslim and Sikh religions were under tremendous pressure to take Christianity. In the cantonments of the soldiers, Christian missionaries were actively involving. This has created a fear or resentment in other religious communities. Those who were following religiously those communities, those religions, now they were under tremendous pressure about the spreading of Christianity in their own cantonments. So this also has generated distrust about the British Empire. And according to General Enlistment Act passed by Lord Canning in 1856, the Sepoys were forced by the British to travel over the sea, which was not permitted by Hindu religion. This act made if there is any war outside India, they have to travel through sea. Now this act made forcible, or this act made mandatory for the Sepoys to cross sea. But according to the Hindu religion belief that whoever cross the sea, they are going to lose their caste system. That means these Sepoys are not going to be respected in their community. So this kind of forcible service condition created a lot of resentment against the British among sepoys. The immediate cause was these were already simmering discontent existing. Now, the immediate cause which triggered it was about the usage of Enfield rifles and their cartridges, which were said to be greased with the fat of beef and pork. Beef and pork. Pork is against the Islam religion, and Hindus do not take beef. So these two, the combination of beef and pork, created a lot of resentment in the soldiers or sepoys, which became the immediate cause against the British. Now it severely wounded the religious sentiments of both Hindus and Muslim sepoys. This was the triggering point. The moment the British administration was forcing to use these kind of new weapons, Enfield rifles and cartridges in the war, now there is a rumor that these were greased with the fat of beef and pork. Now the British almost crossed every borderline against the religious sentiments of Hindus and Muslims. Now these soldiers are not going to stay calm anymore. So this has triggered. And one more, so far the British were maintaining the European invincibility. That means Europeans were very advanced country. Europeans were having weapons which are very powerful. No native rulers or no native prince can defeat Europeans, particularly here the British. So that was the kind of myth they propagated or spread across the continent. So Indians were also believing that the British were very powerful. Nobody can even touch them militarily. But there were some wars and battles in Europe, and it has created certain, it has broken the fallacy of invincibility. So it proved that fallacy of invincibility means the concept of invincibility was a myth, and Europeans also can be defeated. British military power also can be defeated with a disciplined opponent. So this was the kind of new belief started emerging by 1850s. British losses in Crimean War. So this was one of the reasons for gaining this belief. The defeat of the British in First Anglo-Afghan War. The First Anglo-Afghan War was a disastrous for the British. This has shown that an Asian country or the Asians can defeat the Europeans. It has proved the fact that British are not so powerful that nobody can defeat them. So they have proved that Europeans or the British also can be defeated. The sepoys grew bold by the Santhal uprising. Forget about the powerful opponent. Even the tribal people also could make the British think about their military strength. Just 1 year before 1857 revolt, there was a Santhal revolt. This Santhal rebellion has created a lot of opposition for the British modern weapons. These sepoys grew bold by the Santhal uprising. This event gave the inspiration to the sepoys to revolt against the British. If tribals could stop, or if tribals could give such kind of resistance, stiff resistance to the British, why can't the sepoys can give stiff resistance against the British? So these developments also created a kind of confidence in sepoys. Now whenever they got the opportunity, now when the triggering point came, they showed the resistance immediately. So these are the causes. The significance: before 1857 revolt also there were so many revolts: tribal revolts, peasant revolts and civilian revolts, whereas the 1857 revolt occupies very significant place because it has become a watershed movement with respect to the resistance that has emerged for the British Empire. And we have seen the causes as well. The causes are about the grievances that are existing in Indian communities. Native states had their grievances, Jamindars were having their own grievances, peasants and artisans were the worst affected people. Now, Sipais were having their own grievances. Sipais are nothing but he was also a peasant in uniform. Sipais can be called as a peasant in uniform because once he go home, his family is again forming community. So Sipais are nothing but he is a peasant in uniform. At home, they were seeing the difficulties of the British administration, and in the office also, they are seeing the discrimination against them with respect to Europeans. So Europeans were treated very well, whereas Indian Sepoys were ill treated. All these sentiments have created resentment in the Indian communities, and they got the opportunity in 1857, and they have given a very great opposition, or they have given strong stiff resistance to the British power.